Morning, everybody. How you doing? It's me again. It's Russell Mills, August 18th, 2020. I want to say hello. I hope everybody's blessed today. Um, just got a question I want to ask everybody. Do you feel like that Kamala Harris is qualified to be the vice president if Joe Biden wins the nomination in November? Just give a little rundown of who Kamala Harris is. She was born October 20th, 1964. She's an American politician and lawyer, has served as a junior United States Senator from California since 2017. And this is obviously she's the Democratic vice president nominee in 2020 election. She was born in Oakland, California. So this is Harris is a graduate of Howard University and University of California, Hastings College of the Law. She began her career in Alameda County District Attorney's Office before being recruited to San Francisco District Attorney's Office and later the City Attorney of San Francisco's office. And since 2003, she was elected for District Attorney of San Francisco. She was elected Attorney General of California in 2010 and re-elected in 2014. So she defeated Loretta Sanchez in 2016 Senate election to become the second African-American woman and the first South Asian American to serve in the United States Senate. Says as a senator, she has supported health care reform, federal descheduling of cannabis, a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, the DREAM Act, a ban on assault weapons, and progressive tax reform. She gained a national profile for her pointed questions of the Trump administration office during the Senate hearings. As Harris ran for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination and attracted the national attention before ending her campaign on December 3rd, 2019. She was announced as the former vice president of Joe Biden's running mate in 2020. On August 11, 2020, she's the first African American, the first Asian American, and the third female vice presidential running mate on a major party ticket after, I don't even know who these people are, and there's one, Sarah Palin in 2008, but I don't know. Like, I'm going to play you guys something from Stephen Colbert.
Welcome back to A Late Show. Senator Kamala Harris. Senator, thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be with you again.
It's really good to see you again. But before we get started, we just learned right before this interview that the Officer Rolfe, who shot Rayshard Brooks in Atlanta, has been charged with homicide. Have you looked at any of the charges, and what is the significance of this?
Well, one significance of it is that the district attorney there clearly, from the first moments of the incident and the tragedy, took it seriously. He started an investigation and I think swiftly addressed the issue. And so now it's just they go to trial and they'll proceed to trial. And these are difficult cases, but I have confidence in the ability of that prosecutor to seek justice and to achieve justice.
It seems like a simple thing to have happen, especially since there's video evidence. But I think it shows there's a kind of a low bar that the police departments and district attorneys have to get over in order to address some of the issues of the protesters in the streets. If someone shoots an unarmed man, black or white, that person should face consequences.
So part of what I'm fighting for right here in D.C. right now is that we have a package of bills that we've named the Justice and Policing Act. My partner in this on the Senate side is Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey. We are members of the Congressional Black Caucus, which is leading it on the House side with Congresswoman Karen Bass. One of the components of the Justice and Policing Act is exactly your point, Stephen. It's about the fact that when these cases go to court on the issue of excessive force, in most jurisdictions right now, The question that is asked is, was that use of force reasonable? Well, as you and I know, you can reason away just about anything. What we are pushing for is instead that there would be a more just and fair question, which is to ask, was that use of force necessary? So changing the standard to actually meet the point, which is that when we are looking at these cases around the country, there have been cases that have been charged and brought, but the bar is so high, it's almost insurmountable, which means that the community and the families of these victims do not see justice. And so that is part of what we need to do to really restructure the way we are handling these cases.
And I know that we had Senator Booker on, and I know that the two of you are working on this legislation and introducing it into the Senate. McConnell has announced Tim Scott's Justice Act that will go to the floor. Will you vote to advance that to debate? And if not, what's it missing for you?
Well, so I think that Senator Scott is well-intentioned, but frankly, what has been proposed just has no teeth. We need accountability and consequence. It's an interesting thing, Stephen. When we talk about the criminal justice system, we will often use the phrase consequence and accountability as it relates to someone who is arrested, but rarely as it relates to the system itself and those people working within the system. And what the people who are by the thousands in 50 states of America marching for is that there be equal justice under law, as we promised as an ideal, a founding ideal of our country. We're not doing that right now. And part of the reason we're not doing that is we are not holding police officers who break the rules and break the law. We are not holding them accountable, and there's not serious consequences. And so our bill does that. What I've seen in terms of what was offered today on the Republican side, it talks about training. Well, we've been training folks. It talks about a number of things that are not about serious consequence and accountability for bad behaviors.
President Trump issued an executive order yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
Was there anything meaningful in there from what you saw?
No, it's window dressing, but then that's usually what we get out of President Trump. No. And again, the point here is that.
Hello again, it's Russell Mills. I think here's a problem I feel, and this is, like I said, this is my opinion. I feel like a lot of these people in politics, they like to play sides, play each other's sides. And it's just like, I just don't get it, sometimes with these politicians, because I feel like, they don't really care about you. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel. Like I said, maybe, I just feel like these whole back and forth, it's like the American people are hurting. How do you guys feel about this? Do you feel like that she's a good candidate? Do you feel like that she's going to help the country if her and Joe Biden come together and win the nomination, and win to be president and vice president of this country? This question. Like I said, I'm not saying, she's probably, but I'm going to see if I could play a clip from Tulsa Gabby about her record, about
Senator Harris, you have also been quite critical of Vice President Biden's policies on race, specifically on the issue of busing in the 1970s, having benefited from busing when you were a young child. Vice President Biden says that your current position on busing, you're opposed to federally mandated busing, that position is the same as his position. Is he right?
That is simply false. And let's be very clear about this. When Vice President Biden was in the United States Senate working with segregationists to oppose busing, which was the vehicle by which we would integrate America's public schools, had I been in the United States Senate at that time, I would have been completely on the other side of the aisle. And let's be clear about this. Had those segregationists their way, I would not be a member of the United States Senate. Cory Booker would not be a member of the United States Senate. And Barack Obama would not have been in a position to nominate him to the title he now holds. And so on that issue, we could not be more apart, which is that the vice president has still failed to acknowledge that it was wrong to take the position that he took at that time. Now, I would like to also talk about this conversation about Eric Garner, because I too met with his mother. And one of the things that we've got to be clear about is that this president of the United States, Donald Trump, while he has been in office, has quietly been allowing the United States Department of Justice to shut down consent decrees, to stop pattern and practice investigations. On that case, we also know that the Civil Rights Division, this is important, the Civil Rights Division of the United States Department of Justice said charges should have been filed, but this United States Department of Justice usurped, and I believe it is because that president did not want those charges to go forward, and they overrode a decision by the Civil Rights Division of the United States Department of Justice. Under my administration, the Civil Rights Division will reign, and there will be independent investigations.
Vice President Biden, I want to give you a chance to respond to what Senator Harris just said.
When Senator Harris was the Attorney General for 8 years in the state of California, there were two of the most segregated school districts in the country, in Los Angeles and in San Francisco. And she did not, and I didn't see a single solitary time she brought a case against them to desegregate them. Secondly, she also was in a situation where she had a police department when she was there that in fact was abusing people's rights. And the fact was that she, in fact, was told by her own people, that her own staff, that she should do something about and disclose to defense attorneys like me that you, in fact, have been, the police officer did something that did not give you information that would exculpate your client. She didn't do that. She never did it. And so what happened? Along came a federal judge and said, enough, and he freed 1,000 of these people. If you doubt me, Google 1,000 prisoners freed, Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Vice President Biden. And Senator Harris, your response?
That is simply not true. And as Attorney General of California, where I ran the second largest Department of Justice in the United States, second only to the United States Department of Justice, I am proud of the work we did, work that has received national recognition for what has been the important work of reforming a criminal justice system and cleaning up the consequences of the bills that you passed when you were in the United States Senate for decades. It was the work of creating one of the first in the nation initiatives around re-entering former offenders and getting them jobs and counseling. I did the work as Attorney General of putting body cameras on special agents in the state of California, and I'm proud of that work.
I want to bring in Congresswoman Gabbard. Congresswoman Gabbard, you took issue with Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate. You called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. That would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place. That impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about re-entering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who are on death row, innocent people. You actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted, I made a very difficult decision that was not popular to not seek the death penalty. History shows that, and I am proud of those decisions.
Senator Harris, thank you very much. Senator Bennett, a question for you. Why are you the best candidate to heal the racial divide that exists in this country today, which has been stoked by the president's racist rhetoric?
Yeah, first of all, the president's racist rhetoric should be enough grounds for everybody in this country to vote him out of office. That one thing alone should be enough. Second, Don, I want to answer your question by tagging on the conversation we were just having. This is the fourth debate that we have had, and the second time that we have been debating what people did 50 years ago with busing, when our schools are as segregated today as they were 50 years ago. We need a conversation about what's happening now. And when there's a group of kids in this country that don't get preschool through no fault of their own, and another group does, equal is not equal. And we've got a group of K-12 schools that are good because families can spend $1 million, and you've got the Detroit public schools that are as segregated as they were. Equal is not equal. And let me tell you something else, Don. I believe you can draw a straight line from slavery through Jim Crow, through the banking and the redlining to the mass incarceration that we were talking about on this stage a few minutes ago. But you know what other line I can draw? 88% of the people in our prisons dropped out of high school. Let's fix our school system, and maybe we can fix the prison pipeline that we have.
Thank you, Senator Bennett.
So did you guys see that? Nice debate. You know, and another thing I want to
This is where it happened.
another thing I'm going to show you about this young lady. It's right here.
From the press on her presidential run. They want her to be the next president, so they are overlooking her background. She's a former prosecutor, as you know, but the press has let her rebrand as a crusader for prison reform. No one's called her on it until last night. Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii definitely called her on it. Watch this.
There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. That would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
It was an electric moment, and it might be why Congresswoman Gabbard was the most Googled candidate since the debate last night. She joins us tonight. Congresswoman, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks, Senator.
So I haven't heard anybody say what you said. Why are you the first person to say this?
Hey, look, voters deserve to know the truth. You know, the decision that the American people have before them is a critical one. The decision that Democrats have before them about who their nominee should be is a very important one. They deserve to know the truth about the candidates that are before them, and especially on this issue of criminal justice reform that's impacting so many people across this country because it is so broken and it is an unjust criminal justice system. Senator Kamala Harris was in a position to be able to make a difference in that when she was serving as Attorney General. And as I pointed out last night, she did not fulfill that promise that she claims to have, which is to be a champion for the people, be a champion for the oppressed. In fact, she did the exact opposite. She made decisions that ended up hurting people, that ended up hurting minorities, hurting poor people in the state of California, which is concerning to me for someone who wants to be the president of the United States and frankly, who's claiming to be a prosecutor president.
So I think this is a really interesting debate. This topic deserves a real debate. You have a perspective. She's got a perspective. Let's hear them both. She would not engage with you. And that's what I found contemptible, but also fascinating. Rather than rebut what you said, she dismissed you, and her spokesman later dismissed you even more savagely as a Putin apologist. What do you make of that?
A couple of things. First of all, what I was sharing was not a matter of opinion. These are widely reported facts and reports about her tenure as Attorney General in California, her career as a prosecutor. And we're not talking about something that happened, 30 years ago or 50 years ago. These are things that she did in her last job, just before she was elected as U.S. Senator, and she should be held to account for them. She's claimed to be very proud of this record, so answer for it. The voters deserve to know. But you're right. She refused to answer the question. She refused to engage on the debate stage. And the responses from her and her campaign after the debate was basically to lob cheap smears and basically say that I'm a traitor or a foreign agent or a Trojan horse or whatever it was, and trying to feed those talking points to the media. So, this is concerning on many levels about how a Senator Harris would govern as president. That if there are those who are critics of her or her record, for me, I'm a two-time veteran of Middle East deployments. I'm a soldier currently still serving in the Army. I'm a sitting member of Congress, and she's smearing me in this way. Imagine what she would do to anyone else. As president.
I think it's a fair point. That's a fair point. It's the first refuge of the contemptible, I think. What did you think of CNN's debate, the way they ran it? Were you satisfied with it?
I think it had a little more decorum than we saw in the first debate. But, look, I wish there was a more fair and balanced approach in how every candidate would have the right amount of time to be able to address these important issues that we face. There are many of them. 60 seconds and 30 seconds are short periods of time to be able to dig into these issues. So this is where I'm looking forward to being able to continue to build the support for our campaign to make it to the qualifications for the next debates in September and October.
Yeah, I mean, the one place you don't want to be in Washington is outside the status quo as you are. That's when you start getting it from all sides. You're obviously...
Tucker, a lot of the conversation around this and the things that we're talking about, again, really come down to valuing this role, this job of president, and that most responsibility of commander-in-chief, and appreciating the freedoms that we hold dear in this country. If I have the honor and privilege of serving as president, I can guarantee you that if there are critics to my record or people who disagree with my policies, I'm not going to label them as foreign agents or traitors. Having this vigorous debate is a part of who we are as a country. And it's something that we've got to appreciate and actually honor the voters and the people of this country in making sure that we're providing them with the truth and the information that they need to make the best decision possible.
Amen. Tulsi Gabbard, thanks a lot for coming on tonight.
I like the way she spoke about that situation, even though that was last year when the debates in 2019, even though we're in 2020 right now. But I like the way she spoke about Kamala Harris. She didn't try to smear her, but, I feel like Kamala Harris, like I said, from what they were saying, from what that woman was saying, Tulsi Gabbard was saying, is true. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, and the thing that really is weird to me is that with regardless if this was a debate or not last year to 2019, just the fact was Kamala Harris attacked Joe Biden a lot in that debate. And it's just weird now all of a sudden that regardless of if they all work together and stuff like that, but it's so funny how she went really hard on him, even though I don't like Joe Biden either. But It's just, and I'm not trying to stick up for him, but it's funny how she went hard on him, called him a racist, and said this about the busing situation, as you heard her say in the clips. And it's just like, and now you guys become teammates. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, like Donald Trump when he became president, and you had like Ted Cruz and Ben Carson and all these other people that really was attacking Donald Trump, and it's just funny. And then like now they're on his side. It's just so funny how people just change up really quick. And I don't know if people have dirt on them, and that's why they ended up siding with Trump at one point. But my thing is this: the American people are hurting right now, and and it's like I'm worried for this country. I'm worried for what's going to happen to our children, the school systems, you know what I mean? And I'm worried for the parents out there. It's like this whole virus has messed up everything. Everybody's talking about virtual schools and all this other stuff. And it's just like, even me, I have a son, and it's like, again, I just don't understand it, and I don't know what happened, and I don't know how to even explain it, but it's just terrible. It's terrible what we're going through as a country. It's terrible what the children are going through. I worry about the future. I don't know how you guys feel about what I'm saying or how you guys feel about it, but I worry about the future. You know what I'm saying? I'm scared because you don't know what's going to happen to the elderly. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these medical companies, and the pharmaceuticals are making a lot of money, as they've always been. It's like some of the people in this country are worried about how long they're going to stay living in their places for, or paying their mortgage or rent, just as well as all of us trying to keep a job. Some places are spiking up with this virus, and people are, can't work. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just scary. It's scary. It's scary. And it's like, I'm worried. And I just pray to God that whatever this happens, I just hope and pray that everything just works itself out. You know what I mean? I don't know how you guys feel about what I'm saying, or how you guys feel about these people, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't like it. I feel like that none of these people could really change the situation, and I hate that they try to act like they try to speak for us, as American people that are struggling. Because my thing is this: if you are in a nice house, your family's taken care of, your money's in stock, bonds, all this other stuff, you got investments, you got lands, properties, you're not going to worry. You're not worrying about the next guy that's poor. Okay, you're worried about your lifestyle, your own lifestyle. And that's the problem I have with this country. Everybody's so selfish and worried about just themselves. And that's the problem. And I don't feel like that these people, because no president has ever done anything. And I don't care what anybody says. I feel like Republican, Democrat, whatever. I have my right to say how I feel. Doesn't mean it could be wrong, but it's just how I feel in my mind. But I feel like some of these people, they don't try, to work with you. And everybody talks about we have to vote. That's fine. And I'm sure some voting over the years has worked in certain aspects. In some aspects, it has not. I'm just asking you guys a question. Has it worked out for you in certain neighborhoods? Has it? I don't know. I'm not a big voting person. I'm going to see if I can vote this year, but honestly, I really don't want to. I feel like this as a country that we need to just come together collectively and try to understand, stop being culturally disconnected, not understanding where we're from, not understanding who we are, disrespecting each other. We don't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? As a country, the things upset me and piss me off. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Do I feel that, in times that, we need to come together a little bit more and stop having less hate? And yes, we should. Because hate is from the devil. You know what I'm saying? God don't like all that. But it's very hard for some of us to just try to focus, on the right thing, because it's just so hard right now. Everything is so, in a frenzy. And I worry for the kids. I worry for my son. I worry for the other kids that are going to go to school down the road. Is this virus going to affect everybody for years to come, or is this something that's going to pass down the road? Who knows? But I just feel like, again, that these people, they don't really care about you. They could say whatever they want. I feel like it's just all hype. It's all, just for the cameras, lights, camera, action. And then when the cameras and lights are gone, they're a different person behind the scenes. That's how I feel. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if you're a white man, black man, doesn't matter. You're a human being. I feel like some of these people, they're just not, they're not true to who they are, because I feel like if they really revealed who they really were, we probably would not like them. That's just how I feel. Like I said, you guys can disagree if you guys watch my YouTube channel or not, but that's how I feel. But just asking a question. You feel like you think Kamala Harris or Joe Biden are the right fit for this country if they win come November? That's up to the American people. That's up to us. And talk about the mail-in balloting and all this other stuff. And this whole country's a mess. I just pray. I'm gonna say this, get out. I just pray for this country. I pray for us to stop having so much hate in our hearts, even including myself. Anger, hate, frustration, because it is hard when you have certain things that are thrown in our face all the time. So I just hope and pray, and I just hope God spares our souls on this planet, before it all ends. But feel free to check out my YouTube channels. My name is Russell Mills, RUSSELLMILLS. May 22nd, 2017 is my first video, Why Black People Settle for Less. Feel free to check out my videos. Take care. God bless.